Assalamu alaikum, Ukusu. It's your Ndugu Shaka Jajaga Shakur, aka M. Costa the Bush Doctor, with you one more time. It's like 4:41 a.m. I'm here in Florida, right? And, got up at about 3, something like that, right? 3:30, 4 o'clock, and fixed my good breakfast, and I'm getting ready, right? So before I make Fajr, which is at I think 5:20 here today in Florida, it depends on where you're at. I wanted to share some thoughts with you, family. I go back and I read a lot of the comments to the posts I'm making, and I want to make some things very, very clear. One, your brother, your dear brother, Shaka Jajaga Shakur, or my full name, Shaka Salahuddin El Mukhtar Jajaga Shakur, is not, and do not ever think of myself as some mystical prophet or some chosen voice, and none of that. I'm just a vessel. And I'm blessed, that I was even picked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, guided by my ancestors to be able to let these words come out. Like every video I say so that our words are guided in the right and not the wrong direction. And I'm glad that my words and thoughts have been guided, to this journey that we call the United Muslim Alliance. And it's a journey, family. It's not easy. It's a journey, all right? I mean, this idea sparked over 11 years ago, maybe 15 years ago now. And in that journey, your brother, Shaka, has been through ups and downs. I've walked away, came back, stepped back into the dunya, or the world of the world. Let's just say the world, because of heartbreak or disillusion or whatever. You know what I mean? I've made moves that I'm not proud of. I made moves that I'm like, damn, looking back, like, why did I do that? How could I let myself get there, et cetera? You know the deal. You know the deal. Come on now, right? So I say that to say that now, this message that is being pushed for unity, it's not me trying to be the general of Islam or that guy. No, it's just saying I see the beauty of the whole picture. While some are fighting for a branch on a tree, or some claim to be the stem of the tree, others are claiming to be the root of the tree. Some are just the leaves on the tree, right? Your brother is one who has been blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to stand back, see the whole tree, and how all of the branches connect to the stem, and how the stem or the body of it is connected to roots in the ground, and how all of that produced these beautiful leaves. And each of those leaves are different, but connected. And that tree is only as strong as the understanding of all those parts, that they understand that they play one part. And that's important, family. That's, to me, that's the mission. It's not to tell a Sunni don't be a Sunni, or a Shia not to be a Shia, or or any other madhab not to be who you are. It's not to tell the Nation of Islam member to denounce that and get with the 5% nation, or the 5% nation member to denounce that and get with this. No, all of you are part of this. It's not about whether Philadelphia is more Islamic than Baltimore, or Baltimore more than New York, or New York more than Jersey, or Jersey more than Cleveland in the Midwest, and all that. And these places I name, all of these places have historical roots and are coming together. So we're not going to argue about Noble Drew Ali's, infinite and wisdom and input, or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's infinite input, and wisdom. No, we're not going to argue about that no more. We don't want to argue about that no more because it's irrelevant. When I look at all these people, I know beautiful people from all of those doctrines who are wonderful, wonderful people. So I don't care. Their doctrine got them to that point. Got them to that point where they are good people. And I know bad, or let's not say bad, negative influencers who share those same doctrines, right? So we're not going to do that. There's only one God, and this message that we are spreading to the Black Muslims in America does not make us anti any other Muslim, from any other denomination of people. The Southeast Asian Muslim, or the Asian Muslim, or the European Muslim, or the Arab Muslim, we that's peace. But they got theirs together. We got to get ours together. Because when I turn on the news, I see my babies dying here on the street. And that's not to say that the black Christians and Catholics and all the people of that world are not doing their job, but that's their job. I'm not in their house. I'm in this house. And I have to be real about what I see in this house. And I have to say that we need to get together. And I do understand that I'm not fooled. I am not naive. I know that some of the leadership in these different walks of Islam, some are straight up paid by our enemies to keep us divided, and others have fell in love with this world, because I was there at one time too. Not that I'm some great big leader, but I've had my taste of leadership. And I have had my taste of the poisons that come with leadership. Leadership that's not backed by divine understanding or divine motivation. Leadership that's not backed by a pure understanding of what you are here to do. That is not divinely inspired. And when I say divinely inspired, again, I'm not saying I'm a prophet, but all people in leadership, if they lose their sight of God and what God is saying to us as a human race, then you lose your connection with the next human, and you become part of the problem too. And you begin to exploit and corrupt and lie and cheat and steal and envy and hate and jealousy, greed. All those things come in because you lost faith. You stepped off the path. And it is very true that who Allah puts on the path, no one can take off. But who Allah sees to not be on the path, no one can put back on. And I'm paraphrasing, but you know what I'm saying. And when I was in the blind spot, nobody could have brought me back from that, because it was my destiny to walk in that blind spot, walk in the shade instead of the light. I wasn't in the cold. I wasn't in the complete dark, but I definitely was in the shade for a long time. And that shade is what did it, you know? And now I'm in the light again, man. And this is bigger than the organization. This is just bigger than even the racism we face. But we have to address these problems from an internal position. How can I expect the dude on the corner to do better if we who call ourselves followers of God, followers of Allah, if we are bickering amongst ourselves and fighting and hating each other, if we are still acting like slaves, how do we expect the others who were enslaved by the wonders of this world, the lack of wonders, the issues of this world, to do any better? Come on, y'all. If you pray 5 times a day and you still ain't got it right, what do you think they're gonna do? So again, this is not rewriting Islam. You know what I mean? Somebody said we don't align ourselves with shirk in reference to the Nation of Islam. Stop that. There are beautiful people in the Nation of Islam. And the Nation of Islam has cleaned up more people in its existence than any other group out here, period. Period. And it's continuing to do so. As a matter of fact, many other groups are inspired by the Nation, have mimicked the Nation and done good work as well. So everybody plays a part, man. But we're not going to stop pushing for this. One ummah. We are one people. And we as black people, descendants of Africa, we are similar to the story of the cave. In Islam, I think it's Surah 18, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a story of some young believers who were being persecuted. You know, if they didn't give up their belief in Islam, their love for Allah, they were going to be persecuted. So rather than turn their back on Allah, they went into a cave to hide. And Allah put them to sleep in that cave for centuries. There was a dog that came with them. They were trying to chase the dog away, but the dog stayed out and guarded, stayed on guard the whole time. Centuries went by. These men woke up and came back in. They sent one to go out and buy some food because they were hungry. And he went with the coins of his time to try to do trade. And the people were like, oh my God, They found out they came from then. And then the king who was not the wicked king when they remembered, he was a just leader, rode his horse all the way out to them and sat with them and talked and truly the wonders of Allah were revealed. Now I'm jumping around paraphrasing, but that story, when I heard it a long time ago, and recently it's just been popping up on my timeline like consistently, and I didn't look for anything like that, so there's no reason it should be in my algorithm, but it kept popping up. And this morning when I woke up and I turned, got myself together, and I go on the phone like everybody do, scroll the phone, and I scrolled. That's the first thing that popped up in my feed, and I sat down and thought about it. I said, this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving me a download, man. Like, wake up, bro. And those people in the cave, that's us, black men and women in America. That's us. We were the ones who were persecuted in our homelands. And we were put on those ships. Those ships represent the cave, right? And we were brought over here. And we have been asleep for centuries. Many of us Muslims who came over here, sleep for centuries. And now we are awaking. We are waking up, We're waking up. We at the woo in the wukusu. We at the woo, the wake up, the beginning stage. Then comes the cleanup. And the cleanup stage is United Muslim Alliance for the Muslims, saying that we are tired of being pushed out of history. We're tired of being pushed aside from the story. We are tired of just being the footstool for everybody else. We have done nothing to these people, but they hate us nonetheless. So we're saying, okay, we have a history we're proud of. And we're going to tell that story. We're not ashamed. We should not be. We're not dividing the ummah. We're not putting any in company with Allah. We're not doing any of that. We're just saying that we are somebody too. And we have something to be proud of as well. We've, in our time, sleep in the cave, look what we developed. We've been waking up over the years. Look where we at. Look at how strong we are. Now that we're awake, let us use that strength to help our people to go forward. I'm going to leave it there. All right? Have a great day. You Muslims who are up wherever you at, get that Fajr in, that Fajr prayer. I do push for all 5 prayers. If you do 3 prayers, do your 3 prayers, or whatever the number of prayer you do in your understanding of Islam, do that. But get that first prayer in, because it sets the day off with a different energy. It sets your day off with the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It sets your days off with a good vibe. And go out there and just be the best version of yourself that you can today. Assalamu alaikum.